Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the April 22nd Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first thing we have on our agenda are our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections?
I do not.
Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, April 15th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, planning, come on down. Okay, this being the time set aside for a public hearing for the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed commercial rezoning application, a high impact permit application, and setback variance application submitted by Ute Mountain Ute Tribe agent Beth Cascaddan on property located at 27601 Highway 160, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 4.05 acres, more or less, located south of East Empire Street, north of Highway 160, situated in Section 30, Township 36 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated the 17th day of March, 2025. Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, April 9th, 2025.
Thank you, Kim. All right, Don, would you give us an overview on this one, please?
Sure. So the Ute Tribe is wanting to put their pottery shop building business back into operation. It closed a few years ago, and at the point that the land use code was adopted, they never did fill out the rezoning papers, never got it changed from AR property. So they're requesting to be zoned commercial, as well as get the high impact permit for the amount of traffic that would generate off of Highway 160. There was an old highway access permit, but they have also applied for a new CDOT access permit for that location.
Okay. Would you like to add anything, Ms. Cascaddan?
Yes, we actually ended up closing that right during COVID, and then it's been closed down for 5 years. We've had to do multiple repairs because the building had been essentially left unattended. So we've had to redo the roof. We just got the plumbing up and going, fixed, so we're ready to go. The permits and everything, this building has been in existence since 1979. And the storage barn in the back was actually implemented in 1981. The tribe has been current on their taxes. The property taxes for this year are over $9,000. And so we have been maintaining current tax payments. In the taxes, which I understand is different from the planning, we're already listed as commercial retail and have been paying a higher amount. So this being here is to help align everything the way it should be.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Not
this
yet.
time?
Not right now.
Okay. All right, well then, I will open this application up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against the application, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time.
Good morning to all. Need to state name and who I'm up. Okay, Howard Kame, last name K-A-I-M-E. I presently serve on the Cortez Cemetery Board, so I'm here representing their interest. For years, that property, Mesa Verde Pottery, now going to be occupied by the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. We've been neighbors for years, and everybody's been very good neighbors. The representative from the Ute Mountain Tribe approached me just before the meeting and relieved our request or concerns, which was if they're going to have an outside vendor, merchant area outside during the day. We were concerned about maybe the noise for people maybe having a funeral at that time at the cemetery. And we are advancing toward their property line that we share, our vacant land. We're converting more and more of it into cemetery plot sites. So we, at the planning and hearing, we addressed a concern about maybe the noise. We do understand that there is a noise level, decibel level, but it's still in regard. We'd like maybe a little more privacy between the two for funerals that are in progress. But like I say, a lady from the Ute Mountain Tribe approached me just before the meeting and said that they are addressing that issue in the very near future. They are going to put up a fence, privacy fence, so we will no longer need any more government invention in the matter. So I appreciate you addressing our concerns, and so I'm would like to approve her proposal for the property renewal in view of the fact that they are going to meet our concerns, and we're happy to see that building open again and occupied. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next. All right. Seeing no further public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application and bring it back to either our planner or Ms. Cascaddan. Do you have any issues to address anything that he just stated? Or?
No, he did address the fact that we had agreed to put the privacy fence up. I had also gone one step further at the planning meeting, that if they do have a funeral, if they let us know in advance, we can make sure that the outside area is closed during that time period out of respect.
Okay.
So we did try to address all of that prior. So we're looking forward to being able to open this. With the changes up in the federal level, we've lost several grants, which is really impacting the income for the Ute Tribe, and we're trying to create economy for local here as well as the Ute Tribe.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add, Don?
No, the project does include the tenant area in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed it, seen it driving by, but it's on the northwest corner there.
Right.
But it's isolated to the paved area.
Yeah. Okay. Questions, commissioners?
P and Z.
They voted 4-1 to recommend it for approval. Their only conditions were the privacy fence and for it to be acoustical music only, not electric amplified bands and whatnot.
Okay.
Is that 42.1 foot, is that to the irrigation canal? Or is that actually the boundary line,
That the boundary line follows the
canal.
irrigation canal.
follows the canal?
Isn't there 2 easements out there for him?
There's a canal
There's
on
one
the
on
other
the
side
west.
too, but it's off of the,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know how close it is to their parking lot
yeah.
deal, but this one actually, we don't use anymore. MBI doesn't use that anymore. That used to go to the old or the Rocky Ford Canal.
Mhm.
The other canal we still use to bring water out of Taunton down McKelmo. So it's still in use,
Yeah.
but this one, we haven't used it. It's been quite a while, since probably in the late 80s sometime. It hasn't been used since then,
All right.
but we,
Any other questions?
No, that's all I have.
One thing I would just like to raise for the board, my understanding from my conversation with Don, and Don, just correct me if I'm wrong here, that canal is also the property line on that side, is that correct?
That is correct.
So in our land use code, there's a 50-foot setback typically for commercial buildings. I think there's a couple of ways the board could treat this existing building that's 42 feet from the property line. Under our high impact permit section, there is an exception, or an exemption, excuse me, at 1302.3 for land uses existing at the time of the adoption of these regulations in 1998, that they would be exempted essentially from the threshold standards for a prior existing use. So the board could find that it was a prior existing use. We don't have any specifics about prior existing uses in our land use code, and then if the board didn't want to do that, another way to address this would just be to issue a high impact permit for that threshold standard that's being exceeded under our high impact permit process. Any questions about that?
I mean, this is a pre-existing building, and I think, like you stated, it was there since '79, which predates the land use code significantly.
About 20 years.
And what
So-
happens with setbacks, AR property, bordering AR property, the setbacks are 30 feet, but commercial to AR property, it goes to 50 feet.
50 feet. So we're 8 feet
So with the
short.
change of zoning, the setbacks actually change, but
Yeah.
this is all kind of going retroactive back 40 years.
Then, Commissioners, the decision criteria, excuse me, for this high-impact permit and change of zoning are that the proposed use is in conformity with the code, that the proposed use shall not generate any significant adverse impacts on other property in the area, and is consistent with the code, and that public utilities and services are available or can be made available to support uses consistent with the proposed zoning. If the applicant fails to meet any of those criteria, the permit shall either be approved with conditions ensuring compliance, or it shall be denied.
Okay.
is the canal on the other side actually on your property, or?
It's on the other west property line.
Okay.
Which would be the cemetery district, or no?
So,
It's the common. Travis, you can go to the zoning map or one of the other maps in the application.
And this building does have existing utilities. It's got the water and power, which have been on the entire time. The power's been on the last 5 years.
what concerns me is where you're gonna build a fence. If it's next to where that canal is, if that canal has to be cleaned, they have a right of way to go in there to clean that thing, so.
If we need to, we can put a gate in or whatever we need to do to sit down with everyone to get
Yeah,
it done
probably
properly.
need to get with the manager at MBI and check to see what they need to be able to get in to access that,
Okay.
because I know they've had some issues on up the canal
Okay.
recently, so.
Do you know if there's a recorded easement there or not?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
The privacy fence won't need to go all the way to the back of the property, just along the line where the cemetery is and where the line of sight for the building. So we could still allow access towards the back if that would make it easier.
Anything else?
I don't have any problem otherwise. I mean, I think it'll be good for the building to be occupied again and doing something.
So do I.
Yeah.
Another
It's not
vacant
like we're
building
changing.
occupied is a pretty big deal. So, okay.
You have any problem?
No.
Okay.
I just make sure we've got, all the stipulations in there about the privacy fence and the CDOT access, acoustic music, and not blocking MVI's access to their canal.
I move to approve this high-impact permit application and setback variance application submitted by the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe on property located at 27601 Highway 160, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 4.05 acres.
We also need the rezoning.
Yes. Oh, yes. And,
Please.
and the proposed commercial rezoning.
I was gonna add CDOT, the acoustic music, privacy fence, and I think,
And don't block the MVI access. However, you need to work that out with
well,
MVI.
if there's a deeded easement,
Yeah,
we can't do that anyway.
well, I know,
so.
but just to make sure, because it's happened before. I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the high-impact permit application and setback variance application submitted by Ute Mountain Ute Tribe Agent Beth Cascaddan on property located at 27601 Highway 160, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 4.05 acres more or less, with the stipulations of the CDOT access permit approval, the acoustic music in the outside area, the privacy fence, and the MVI access. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, ma'am, you are approved.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, and I'll close this public hearing. All right, we are past our 9:10, so we have the applicants for the next hearing. Come on down, Mr. Mikkelson. And this being the time set aside for a public hearing for the Waldey Harris Mikkelson Family Trust, would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lambert.
He's not
I'm
here.
sorry, Commissioner. Commissioner
I'm here.
I have no idea.
Starts with an L.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Darnowski.
Here.
And Kim Purcell Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed subdivision amendment application and rezoning to lot north of Hema-Casey Subdivision submitted by Waldey Harris Mikkelson Family Trust, agent Michael Mikkelson, on property located at 14902 Road 29.75, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 20.32 acres more or less, located east of Road, oh my gosh, lost my place, 29.75 south of Highway 184, situated in Section 33, Township 37 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 at 9:10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office. Online services at https://montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com, public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 19th day of March, 2025, Kim Purcell Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, April 9th, 2025.
All right, thank you, Kim.
Tells you what an old bird I am.
Okay, Don, would you give us an overview here, please?
Sure. The Mikkelson family, they are the current owners of lot north of the Hema-Casey two-lot subdivision, and they are looking to re-subdivide that and create 3 more lots out of their existing 20 plus or minus acre lot. The existing house would be on lot 2, 3.2 acres there on the north, and then a 5 and a 6 acre lot to the south. Water currently runs down 29.75. It would service the north lot. They would have to extend the water line, let's see, out of 29.6 to the other 2 lots, the 5 acre and the 6 acre to the south, which they have agreed to do with Montezuma water. And that's basically it.
All right, would you like to add anything, sir?
Do I press this? Okay. We've just gone through the steps, I guess. We got the fire mitigation people coming out to do the fire mitigation. We've already done a fire line on the very edge of the rim all the way down with a D4 dozer, and probably will continue to do more cleanup and more stuff like that. But that's already taken care of. And then the water line, we're just waiting to get approved. That'll take a couple months, but we are getting it approved to go over there. And they are putting a fire hydrant right there on our side of the road, right there also. So lots of good, but that's all I have, I guess.
Is that an actual fire hydrant, or is it just a bleed hydrant?
Yeah, they told me it was a fire hydrant to bleed, but also a fire hydrant that would be good for my insurance purposes. That's what they told me.
Good.
So.
Good. Good deal. Questions, commissioners, before I?
No.
The only thing that I'll ask a question on is, I've had several calls up there when we actually had a bad winter, and we actually, because we do plow down that road, and it seems rather narrow.
Yeah.
And that, that snow gets pushed up. Is that an actual full 60-foot right-of-way there? Or is that something smaller?
It's definitely smaller. In fact, it used to be a red road.
Yeah.
And we came in, we talked about that years and years ago, about becoming a green road. I guess county just adopted and said it is. I came and addressed it, how narrow it was before, and it just was pretty much pushed over and aside. So, but it is a green road, been a green road for now 3-4 years. The subdivision that goes to the back actually has their own access. You see there, 29.6, and it goes all the way to the back. That's their access. The only ones they're really supposed to access off of that, well, what would have been Red Road or Green Road, was like 3 families, me, the one across, and Lynch down there, and I think that was it. So just the 3 people off of that road, but there again, everybody uses it, so it's a
Right,
straight
yeah.
shot to Dolores, straight shot back, so it's just easier.
Sure.
South of there is the 10 or 12 lot Polston minor, or major, excuse me.
That's why we had them put that other road in there to begin with, because that road was so narrow. When we approved that subdivision before, we made them put this road in. Because that road was so narrow up through there,
And there is people in the subdivision that are good about using it, really, really good. But if there's like construction or something, usually the trucks and stuff are the ones using that straight road just because it's simpler than making all the winds and turns, you know, but they're fairly good about it.
Okay. Anything else? I'll open this up. Okay. Then I will open up this application for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time. Good morning.
Monty Carmack, 15006, Road 29, Dolores. I wouldn't say I'm for or against it, but I just had concerns like, excuse me, if there's going to be RVs on the lots, if they're going to be properly septic, and what's keeping anyone from pulling more RVs in than what's allowed. So that's basically my only question, and that's it.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Then I will close the public comment session of this application, and I will give you the opportunity to address the question, if you would like to.
I don't know anything about RVs, so I did subdivision. We haven't even decided. We're just breaking them up into lots at this point
Sure.
and putting water to the bottom two. And other than that, we really aren't going much further at this point. It's just breaking it up for future use, future kids, whatever it may be.
And you do have the protective covenants that are written, a copy of those? Don,
Yeah,
so-
and, they can add to those.
Sure.
For this section, it would not cover Lot South, but they will have covenants on this section.
Right,
the
'cause that's a
minimum.
requirement,
Right.
right, okay.
P&Z's recommendation.
They were unanimous to recommend it for approval. The only condition was to extend the water lines to the lots.
And that water line's coming off the 29.6. It kind of cuts down there across the orchard right there to the subdivision. So it's like a 500-foot extension. We've already got the price, everything all done. They know what they're going to do. They've been out there. We're just waiting for it to be approved, and then after we're done here, call them up, tell them to do it. So
Okay,
Anything
questions?
I don't have any. Our problem before was actually expanding the right of way in that road. We didn't want to actually take property and move fences back to do that subdivision before down there, and that's what they worked out, to put that other road down there. And I'm sure it's like you said, most people,
They're gonna use 29.75 and not 29.6, because it's a straight shot, I agree with you.
yeah. And like I said, some do. There's 3 or 4 families that live on that 29.62 that use that, and they're part of the subdivision. So it just kind of depends where you're at, but it kind of goes back and forth. You know, even I use 29.6 sometimes when I just want to drive around or something. But
Yeah, that would have been my only concern, because now we're adding 3 more lots to that.
and the top one, it comes right off the road.
Yeah.
So I mean, the access point actually will be in that very corner if we
Right.
end up doing it. So
So the other 2 could actually access, like you said, off of 29.6.
yeah, I don't think there's anything
and/or
that's stopping them from doing that.
29.75, so they
Yeah.
can go either way.
Yes.
Okay.
I
What's your pleasure?
would so move we accept the proposed subdivision amendment application and rezoning to lot north of the Hema-Casey Subdivision submitted by Waldey Harris Mikkelson Family Trust, agent Mike Mikkelson, on property located at 14902 Road 29.75 Dolores.
second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed subdivision amendment application and rezoning the lot north of the Hema-Casey subdivision submitted by the Waldey Harris Mikkelson Family Trust, agent Michael Mikkelson, on property located at 14902 Road 29.75 Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 20.32 acres more or less. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sir.
Great.
You
Thank you,
have
guys.
been approved.
Thank you much.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good day. Thank you, guys.
And I will
See you
close this
guys.
public hearing.
I put that sign on your guys' desk. Yeah. Right.
All right, we are way past our 9:20, so do we have our next applicant in here? All right, this being the time set aside for a public hearing for Joshua and Gina Bourne for a rezoning application, would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhagen.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
And Kim Purcell, County Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed single lot development and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Joshua and Gina Bourne on property located at 15511 Highway 145, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 68.87 acres more or less, located west of Highway 145, south of Road S, situated in Section 30, Township 37 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025 at 9:20 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and get input. Information may be obtained from the planning office's online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the planning department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 26th day of March 2025, Kim Purcell Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, April 9th, 2025.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, an overview on this one, please.
Yes, so the Borans are looking to create a single lot development along the highway there, 6.22 acres. Access would be from the south. There's an access road that goes to the two existing houses. It would also service this house. They also have a gated ag access off the highway, but it's not permitted or accessed for a residence currently. That's basically it, just creating a single lot development and AR 3-9 rezoning.
Okay, would you like to add anything, Mr. Bourne?
I don't think so.
Okay. Questions, Commissioners?
I don't have any.
I don't have any right now.
So again, just to go over the access again, Don, it does come off the existing access off of CDOT, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then CDOT's approval? Any comments, anything from CDOT?
I don't think we had any comments from
Okay.
them.
Okay,
Anybody?
all right, very good. All right, well then I will open up this application for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against the application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you may address the board at this time. All right, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application and bring it back to the board. Gentlemen, questions,
I have nothing.
comments?
So the access road is where that red line is? Is that
Travis, can you bring up
It's
the plat that was
down
separate
below just
in
a
the
little
file?
bit. There's a little subdivision that's just to the south of there, correct? If I remember right,
There's a house there.
or a
there's
house?
a house, but
And then
There's the
there's a
little
house on
3-acre sliver there. There you go. Scroll up a little more.
The other
Okay,
way?
scroll down a little more. There you go.
It-
Well, there's the access that goes straight west off the highway, and then it turns north and feeds.
And I want to say it's just south of the bridge, correct?
I don't know what bridge.
no,
Or canal,
the
sorry.
canal,
The
that
canal.
one goes into the storage.
into the storage?
That's further north.
Okay.
Yeah, that's further north
Canal's
than
on the other
this.
side of the highway.
Yeah.
And then it comes through a pipe.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I mean, your access to your storage facility,
It has its own access.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
and it's farther north?
this access is down south of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're about half a mile apart.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't have any problem. I move to approve this proposed single lot development and AR 3-9 rezoning applications submitted by Joshua and Gina Boren on property located at 15511 Highway 145, Cortez, Colorado.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept a proposed single lot development and AR 339 rezoning application submitted by Joshua and Gina Boren on property located at 15511 Highway 145, Cortez, Colorado. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, sir, you have been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will close this public hearing. All right, Don, do you have anything else? Missing anything?
No, just working with Stephen on all our other issues.
On what we're gonna look at later on in about a few minutes. Okay,
All right,
all right, sounds good, thank you.
thank you.
All right, now we will have our public comment session of this meeting, and the Board of Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morning, Kim. I haven't met Stephen or Travis, but my name is Mary Dodd, and I live at 1324 Melrose Street in Cortez, and I own 25 acres out on Road 17 as well. I'm here today to ask you to tell Representative Hurd that any cuts to Head Start will greatly harm our local economy, to say nothing of the children and families excuse me, served by Head Start. We're fortunate in this county to have a brick and mortar Head Start, Mesa View, that can serve up to 16 toddlers that are 1 to 3 years old 5 days a week, and 34 preschoolers that are 3 to 5 year olds 4 days a week. We also have Head Start slots for 3 to 5 year olds in Mancus Early Learning Center, and that's open August through May, 4 days a week. In the Nest, which is also in Mancus, that's open year round, 4 days a week. And Teddy Bear Preschool in Dolores, which is open August through May, 4 days a week. It's difficult to pinpoint the exact dollar amount that Head Start brings into Montezuma County. However, a cost-benefit analysis of Head Start in Colorado suggests a positive return on investment of $4.34 for every $1 invested in Head Start. This means that for every dollar spent on Head Start, there's a $4.34 reduction in future costs. In addition, the leveraged economic benefit for Head Start yields a much larger and more immediate return on investment, because preschool teachers live here, spend their money here, and enable parents who live here who have Head Start children to work. And those parents work in many necessary sectors of our economy. And I want to leave you with these words. Everybody depends on somebody who depends on childcare, and every sector of our economy would fail without childcare. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next. All right, seeing no other public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting, and we'll jump right straight into unfinished business. What we're going to look at this today are some proposed fees. The first one we are going to go beyond. We talked about this yesterday in our workshop. Justin has to give us a little bit more information before we look at these specifically compared to CTF funds. So we are going to go beyond this one. Planning and zoning. I think 1 and 2 are already happened with the vote we've taken, and now we're going to wait just a little bit for the STRs so that Stephen has a little bit more time to research this. So this will be moved down the line also. The sheriff's office. Which there are a lot of fees in the sheriff's office. Some are set by statute. Those obviously won't change any. But the ones that we're really considering right now are the fees, the daily fees. And I think that we need a little bit more information. The recommendation right now is $125 a day. But the fee schedule and the study that I just received from a commissioner in La Plata County is a little bit more in depth, so I think that we should probably hold off on this one because I'm not sure $125 is really covering our cost. Questions on this one, gentlemen, after you saw that study?
Yeah.
We really need to look at it closer and see if we can't make an adjustment upwards.
Okay. So we are going to, I guess we could approve all the others because they are statute and just leave this one out. Travis, do you recommend that, or?
Yeah, and I like you indicated, the jail fees are, we don't want to be arbitrary and capricious in our
Correct.
decision-making. We want to use math, but the other ones are set by statute.
Right.
We really have no control over that.
So other than this one, we could probably take care of all of them except for the jail fees.
Did you want to do the fairgrounds or wait till Justin comes back?
No, I think we need to wait until Justin comes back.
Okay.
But he should have that by next week for us.
Want to just wait a week and do them all in one shot?
We can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't we do that?
That's fine. Public health, here again, most of these are set by statute. The only one that they really ask to increase would be the OWTS cost, and that would go up, I think you just went by it, Travis, a little bit. And if you want to wait on this one until next week also, we can do that, or we can do this one, because these are all.
Yeah, I would recommend we wait, because I had been in talks with the Public Health Department about just changing the language on the OWTS. Right now it says penalty fee, which I think gives the wrong impression about why that fee is being assessed. We had discussed changing that to an after-the-fact fee, because there is additional work that the Public Health Department has to do when there are these OWTS applications for existing systems. And so I just think that is important to communicate that we're doing, we're levying these fees in an appropriate way. I think this is kind of misleading with,
Okay.
and so I would recommend we roll this over for some different language in there.
So then we will roll all 4 of these items over until we get just a little bit more information, and then we can move them forward as we've concluded with that. And I apologize, OWTS is the On-Site Wastewater Treatment System, the acronym. Sorry for that, guys. Caught myself. So we will move those on. Travis, you can get them on next week or the week after that. We will now go to a regional GIS memorandum of understanding, an MOU. Come on down, Mr. Roth.
Okay, I'll try to make it a little bit brief, but the bottom line is we presented this as to the form to the board. I think it was the end of last August. Attorney McLaren at the time approved it and reviewed it, and then since then, Attorney Tarnowski has reviewed it and approved it. It's a non-binding agreement. So essentially what we're doing here is we are expanding in 2007 because Dolores and Mankins were both getting some GIS data through some projects that were coordinated through, at that time, the Office of Community Services in Fort Lewis. Some data built. They asked us to house that and be the storage place for that data. We have been doing that since that time. And since that time, it is sort of expanded naturally to the whole 911 PSAP area, Dolores and Montezuma counties, including the city of Cortez. We have been storing all that data for the purposes of serving the greater EMS community. And so this is really just memorializing that we are doing that. It lays out, we're not held to do that, nor are these entities who are the owners of their own data sets, water lines, sewer lines in Dolores or so forth, or parcels in Dolores County. They can request that data be removed from our servers if they so wish, and then we can go back to emailing things back and forth. And essentially, these days we're sharing data not in the old-fashioned way on thumb drives. We're sharing them in GIS services, and we, as the highest governmental entity, we have the ability to basically join all that data together and serve it out most efficiently. So it took me a while to get this done. It also took the entities a while to get it through their systems to get it signed, but here we are. and just wishing to get this finalized. And I believe this does automatically renew on an annual basis unless one of the entities terminates it.
So I have only one question, and it maybe is not even a technicality, but Steve Garcher is no longer Dolores County Commissioner. Do we need to get a current seated county commissioner? All the rest are, but
Yeah.
is that, I mean,
He signed it last year. They signed it right away.
Yeah, that's a good, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I would think that the board signed on to this at the time. You know, through the chair, Steve Garcher.
this is a current 2025 MOU, though. I would hate to have something, I mean, I'm just asking a legal question that I'm not 100% sure of. I don't think there would be any problems with it, but I think to give that new set of commissioners over there the opportunity to at least review it.
Yeah, there's new commissioners, and we could certainly do that. Hey, you know, it's taken me 6 months to get it
Yeah,
before
I
you.
think it
So-
would take you probably another couple days. I just don't.
With Dolores County, they signed it within a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So we could certainly do that.
Maybe it's just a technicality, I don't know, or,
I can look into it more. I just don't know that, I don't know for certain off the top of my head how that would affect it. My gut is that it's probably fine because
okay.
it's signed on behalf of the board. So I think the board, you know, moved to enter into that. But if you want, you could continue and I could look it up, make sure.
And I could certainly, you know, we could sign it today, and I could certainly reach out to Dolores County and say, hey, do you want to get your current commission to sign this, and bring it again and
I would
sign
feel
this.
better just out of courtesy to let them know that, hey,
Okay.
this is, I don't have an issue signing it today, but I think we should still let the current seated commissioners out there know that this MOU exists.
Okay, yeah,
I don't think there's any harm in that, so.
okay. So do you want to
All right.
just delay it and then?
No, we can, I think we can
We'll sign it, and I'll let
then
them,
just-
I'll let that be their board's choice if they want to have us re-sign it again,
Okay.
if that's okay. Okay.
I would so move that we enter into a memorandum of understanding between Montezuma County, the towns of Mancos, Dolores, and the city of Cortez for regional partnership regarding a cooperative effort to enhance geographic information systems within the regional planning and emergency services area.
That's Dolores County too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign this MOU between Montezuma County and the towns of Mancos, Dolores, City of Cortez, and Dolores County, Colorado, regional partners regarding cooperative effort to enhance geographical information systems within the regional planning and emergency services area. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Anything else, Doug?
That's it.
Okay. All right, we'll go straight on into our reports. Mr. Tarnowski, what do you have for us today?
Commissioners, last week I was on the road for 2 days going to a funeral for one of my wife's family members. So I probably did a little bit less than I have been just because I wasn't available on Friday. But I did have some hearings on Thursday that I attended via WebEx. One adult protection hearing and one child support hearing. I've got a lot of court this week as well. I'll be in court tomorrow afternoon on child protection matters and also all day on Friday. Otherwise, I've been spending a lot of time up in the planning department talking to Don on the different issues we've got going on, trying to move forwards on the, getting some more information in front of the board on the solar regulation front, for the board's consideration there. I've got some more things I'm hoping to get done this week, is to look at some of those different plats on the different road realignments that we've got going on. There's that one that we're trying to clean up, and then there's that other one that we're talking about moving forwards with. One other update I have, I've been talking to administration and also Commissioner Candelaria about the assistant county attorney position. That essentially I have not really been able to fill it, and I think part of the reason for that is that we just weren't competitive with other counties in similar positions. So sounds like we have some more money that we can offer, like a more typical 40-hour position. So I'm getting ready to refly that in an expanded role. I think as an office, it'll set us up well to do more work essentially in-house, and also maybe be able to expand into some different areas that, you know, are typically handled by county attorneys' offices, but because of our staff limitations, it's not. There's some different areas that we haven't done a lot of work on historically. So I think that'll be a good development for me, for my office, and then also for the county, that we'll have hopefully some more horsepower basically in that respect. So I think that's a really good development. And thanks for Travis administration and Commissioner Candelaria for working with me on that.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Stephen?
No, I don't.
All right. Travis?
Commissioners, pretty busy week. Reviewed the information that Stephen sent out about the severance tax funds and the loss thereof. That's equates to about a $619,000 funding loss from severance tax. Worked a lot on contracts. We could not find any contracts related to JBBS grant access and subcontractors, and gave that to our attorney to review. Had a meeting with the sheriff and his staff last week. Also met with Road and Bridge for, I don't know, hour and a half. Just following up on some things coming out of that office. DA's office is going to be moving a couple of their staff to the 3rd floor just to help alleviate some of the rental fees that they're currently facing. I'm not sure if our current surveyor has reviewed the 184 and 25 road information, but I know that that's been requested. Had some follow-up with Jackson County. They are also looking to restructure their noxious weed program, and kind of wanted insight on what we did to restructure ours. It sounds like they're in a similar situation related to funding. And then the last thing was address some insurance issues related to useful public service clients coming out of the courts. So a lot of time spent on that.
All right. Question?
Nope.
Okay. Kim, do you have anything?
Yes, sir, I do.
All
Last week when we did our resolutions, once again, I have mixed up numbers. So we actually have 2 resolution 5s. In the past, what I've done is I've just changed one to 5A and 5B, but I wanted to see what Attorney Tarnowski wanted us to do, if we need a new motion to that, or if we, and I apologize again.
Good question. I'll have to look that up too, because off the top of my head, the most important thing would just be that they're identifiable. I'll have to do some looking into how best to do that. I think probably we do want the board to adopt them in their identifiable number. But I just like an opportunity to look into that.
Yeah, so currently they're in my listing, they're as 5A and 5B, but
Okay.
we can do it however you guys want to. I just wanted you to be aware of that. Another.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Lindsay.
Yes, tonight we have City Council in their work session they are going to receive a Colorado Aviation Economic Impact Study from Jeremy Patton, and also they're going to get an update on the Historic Preservation Board. And in their regular meeting, they're doing some renewals of some liquor licenses and some marijuana retail store licenses. Also, they're going to proclaim, Historic Preservation Day proclamation. That's what it was. And also, they're changing a liquor license location and a resolution approving a request for exception to a land use code, which I think is a driveway permit or an access permit. And also going to award a contract for the service center security fencing. But to go back up, what might be of interest to some people is the Area Chamber of Commerce. They're asking for a permit to host business after hours on the premises of the Montezuma Heritage Museum right here at 35 South Chestnut. So if you'd like to attend, I think it might be a pretty good time. And then I did travel to Rifle and then up to Newcastle for the Energy and Environment Symposium put on mostly by Garfield County. And what I did learn up there is that Montezuma County is, and we knew this, disproportionately impacted community when it comes to a lot of the regulations coming out of the state. So there was a lot of talk about that. There was 2 keynote addresses on, one was delivering positive energy, and the other one was Colorado in Context, Energy, Power, Reality, and Responsibility. I have to give it to Kirby Wynn, ex-commissioner up there in Garfield County. He runs a very clean and efficient program up there. If some of these speakers aren't done talking, he runs them off the stage. He says, that's time, we're done next, and he's yelling at the guys next, and you get a lot of information in a day and a half, let me tell you what. Some of the they were talking about methane detection. Colorado Oil and Gas has been changed from that to the ECMC in the state. And I did have a lot of opportunity to sit and talk at our table. We have round tables, and we talked to a lot of different people, commissioners from Delta County, old state representative, all kinds of people. People from DOLA were sitting at our table. It was quite interesting. But one of the main focuses was, of all things, unfunded mandates and how they're impacting everybody in the state, not just little counties, but big counties also. And I think here in the future, we're going to see some movement from some of the counties on that. I think there might be some litigation filed. So other than that, it was great. And for some reason, I didn't know the fact that Montezuma County is the 4th largest producer of natural gas in this state. I did not know that. And we are way down the list when it comes to oil production. And I would have had it reversed in my head for some reason. So we're kind of gassy around here, so. And that's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Copeland for.
Yeah, I don't have much to report for this last week, other than we did have a town hall meeting last night in Dolores, and I'll let Jim talk about that in a while. We didn't have much attendance to it, and then I'll have my Mancus meeting this week too on Wednesday evening, but I haven't looked at their agenda, so I don't know what all they got on it yet.
All right, very good. A busy week with Travis going back and forth, as he's already stated, looking at all of the different departments that we addressed and visited, DSO, Road and Bridge, so on and so forth. We also attended a CCI Zoom meeting on Thursday. It was just a quick legislative update. We will have this Friday, we'll have an all-day meeting to hopefully, we're getting close to wrapping up the session and trying to figure out what they're gonna do with the rest of the bills that still have, that they still have on the table. Some of them, or a lot of them, will probably get PI'd, postponed indefinitely, just for the fact that there's not enough time in the session to finish them up, because they do finish on May 7th. We did have our workshop yesterday. We did have a update from Joe Thine from SHS. Something that was positive was the reauthorization he talked about, which takes place up until September for the Medicare, Medicaid. Oh no, I'm sorry, this was Medicaid. So it has not affected our hospital up to this point in time. He did also talk about the cuts that the JBC did at the state level, but the state actually increased it 1.6, so the JBC did not do anything to hurt our hospital here locally. That'll be a conversation that we have with Congressman Hurd this afternoon. And then there were no changes to the Medicare Advantage that SHS is talking about anyway, at least until 2026, and then that would be a conversation going forward. So positive information there. We did have a town hall meeting last night, our traveling town hall in Dolores. We actually picked a pretty big venue, and our Coffee with the County has been growing so largely, we thought it would be packed, and it actually was just a few people there. So they got to ask a lot of questions, obviously a lot of them that we could not address because they're quasi-judicial. Just because you've read something in the journal doesn't mean that it's come in front of us, therefore we can't talk about it. And, but overall, you know, I just, it always amazes me that a lot of people in our county don't know the federal partners that we have, that we don't control any of those. So it was a great way to educate last night. Just kind of like our Coffee with the County. I think it's a great educational experience for what we get to do. We will be meeting with Congressman Hurd this afternoon at 1 p.m. here in our chambers. And that is all that I have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this April 22nd, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.